Hey guys, I wanted to do a video on something that is current and crazy since like the last couple of years. It's affected the hiring market. I've run into it myself more than once. Um, Ghost jobs, which many can't tell are ghost jobs unless you look for it. There's a whole thing about, not being able to find talent shortage, nobody wants to work, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But then you've got jobs that they're not planning on hiring for. They're just posting them. Nothing about this is a paradox or mystery of any kind. It's an intent. Recruiters, please stop doing this. Companies, if you think this is a good idea, it's actually really stupid to do. Business, it might seem smart, but it's actually lying. Why don't we just open that can of worms? I mean, really. You're posting fake jobs that you have no intention of hiring for to build a pipeline for if and when someone might quit because you're afraid of all the quiet quitting, and risk aversion this, risk aversion that. I mean, if you're so risk averse, why don't you just sit in a chair like a statue and do nothing? Because if you do nothing, then nothing can go wrong. I mean, it's ridiculous how bad this risk aversion is, but it's almost fraudulent. Posting fake jobs so that the investors will think that the company is growing. I mean, if you're an investor and you see that, my first response would be, if you see them posting that, I would go, look, let me see what your workforce actually looks like. But that's just because I don't usually believe right off the bat what's said, not after the stuff that I've seen. People catch on. It's the same problem with when workers leave and you go not eligible for rehire, and you're treating it like, well, screw you too. As though it was a betrayal that they don't be grateful for whatever you gave them. Like, we did you a favor by hiring you. How dare you leave us? So selfish. What's selfish? You needed a job filled and they jumped on board. Enough of this 1960s crap that, people are desperate to have a piece of bread and you're willing to grace them with an act of God by giving them the bread. You need workers to do the job and they sign up for it. It's a contract. But you're over here, posting a bunch of jobs that you're never going to hire for because you want the metrics to look good. How about just quit lying? Yes, it's going to affect the stock price. I know everybody's going to have an aneurysm and a meltdown over the stock price. Everything's going to explode. The universe will blow up because the stock price dropped 0.2. I get it. The CEOs are set up to have skin in the game with the investors, and they'll have a panic attack if it drops 0.01%, and then they'll cut half of their workforce to scream, hey, look at growth. They'll burn down an entire company and get a golden parachute, leaving everyone else with the bags because, that's how corporate seems to work. You could just do honest business. God forbid we had that. You could just do it right. You could just take care of your people. You could communicate. Investors could be a little bit more understanding. If stuff's not going perfect, you don't have a meltdown, grab the guillotine and demand a head in there. And CEOs should be able to tell their people things. I think everybody across the board needs to stop looking at someone to blame and punish for anything and everything that ever goes wrong, no matter what, because of money. Like, chill out. Chill out. But the point of this video really was to make a point at that. Stop lying. If you're not hiring for it, don't post it. Please stop, trying to grab a bunch of warm leads to hold there. It's not a good business model. It's good for your numbers. It makes your spreadsheet, which I'm about to start calling spreadsheets idolatry, because businesses are obsessed with digits on a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, their workers are miserable, and it's all treated like spreadsheet and money. Like, stop obsessing over the spreadsheet. Why are we doing things this way? We could be doing them so much better. So much better. If you post fake jobs and you're collecting all this data, it's data siphoning, which is tacky, really. You shouldn't need to do that to get data. Don't be playing coulda, woulda, shoulda, what if. And don't waste people's time. You might not care because you've got, 100 different people that you're going to auto reject, but at least you got the names. but you're honestly being inconsiderate and disrespectful. It's not very professional. It's actually pretty unprofessional. It's really rude. It's professionally rude to post things like jobs that you're hiring that you're not going to do anything with, and people waste time applying, and they get that auto reject, and you're just thinking, I built up my pipeline, it works for me. Yeah, who else are you affecting? Are you really going to silo your head in the sand? Are you going to use the phrase, it's just business? There's no such thing as it's just business. There is a human element to everything because we're not robots. And it's disrespectful. This isn't the companies are God and the peasants need to worship harder or else. And there's a lot of that nostalgia where it's trying to be the company is God. You need to worship the company. Everything is for the company, to the glory of the company. Hallelujah, amen. No, it's not. Treat your people better. Don't tolerate crap. If management's not doing a good job, teach them. If they can't be taught, remove them. If a worker's not doing a good job, teach them. If they can't be taught, remove them. Give people a chance, but quit playing the bureaucratic system. Go back to, realistic things. Post jobs you're actually going to hire for. That includes timeframes. If you're going to hire in 6 months, that counts. That counts. If something like the funding gets cut or the position goes away, tell them. Communicate every week. There's no reason why you can't. I'm overwhelmed. If you can use an AI to reject everything, you can use an AI to tell you when you need to communicate with someone. You can use a calendar. This is lazy. I'm not saying you're not overwhelmed. You could be. If you're one person dealing with 1,000 applications in a week, that's a lot of work. But if you can use an AI algorithm to auto-reject 50% of those, there's no reason that you can't use that same kind of an algorithm to tell you, hey, send an email to these people. Even those automated emails, as much as I hate them, because they're just a way to pawn the work off, it tells someone something. But if you're in a spot where you're in a limbo and you don't know if the position's open because they're trying to figure out if they still want this, tell someone. Send a midweek update going, hey, I'm just following up. We are still figuring out whether or not we're going to even have this position currently open. I just wanted to let you know. Do you know how nice that is? If you sent that to me, I'd be content. I had some kind of an update. Someone treated me with respect. I appreciate that. If you ghost, like with me personally, if you ghost me, I almost write you off because I think that's disrespectful. I don't think it's just part of the job. It's not part of the job. Garbage communication is not part of the job. Garbage communication is laziness or just intentionally unprofessional. There are cases, of course, where someone can get so busy that they can forget. But if that's common, let's call it what it is. It's low priority. You don't care about that person enough. You don't respect that individual enough to just send some kind of an update. And you're figuring, well, no answer is an answer. Yes, no answer is an answer. No answer is the answer saying you are not a priority and I do not respect you enough with your time and energy to actually give you an update. So, shoo. Take silence as a hint. That is disrespectful. That is not professional. And that's actually avoidance, which tells me you don't actually have the maturity to say, you know what, we went ahead and we went with a different candidate, and this and this were the reasons why. If it's at-will employment, then you can tell a candidate, you know what, this particular set of experience you had honestly just wasn't effective and valid for us. You didn't say you're a bad person. You said that this particular piece of experience didn't match what was needed. Or you can say this position requires this degree because of these things that the degree helps with. And because you didn't have that, we found this just wasn't a good fit. If someone tries to sue over that, well, you're going to have people that have a fit over everything. But it is, a professional's job to have unpleasant conversations. And if you're someone who gets offended by being told, you don't need, you need this degree and you need this thing, you don't have to like it. You can think it's stupid. That's completely fine. But you need to be mature enough to go, well, okay. Not blast and then sue. That's not lawsuit. They're not discriminating against you because you haven't used Excel. I'm just using an example. That's not discrimination. If you haven't used Excel, you haven't used Excel. Go learn it. Well, I didn't have this experience. I think they're discriminating. Against what? lack of experience in a particular skill set is not a protected category. We all know what the protected categories are. Most things are not discrimination. And yes, a lot of recruiters don't really know what they're hiring for. They're told we need this list of requirements and they're looking for, keywords. Yeah, that's a thing. But part of maturity is to go, you know what? Okay. And move on. Not have a meltdown, not have a fit. Not everything is a crusade. Please, do better. Please don't post stuff that you're not actually going to hire for. It doesn't give you a good look, and don't ghost people. It does not give you a good look. And, don't email recruiters being vulgar and aggressive. You really don't need to do that. Doesn't need to be a thing, but recruiters, don't behave like you're martyrs. Don't behave like you're martyrs. Your hand is in this pie. HR demanded a while ago, like years ago, to be, the department to be at the decision-making table, and now they want to hide and duck and cover whenever unpleasant decisions have to be made so they don't have to take backlash. Y'all are the one that wanted this seat. You can't have leadership to bark orders and then offload any negative impact to somewhere else. That way you don't have to deal with it. That's not how that works. And HR wanted to have a seat at the table over stuff like this. So if you wanted that meal, then you need to eat the helping. It's not that hard to figure out. Please, it boils down to treating people better. Don't use it's just business as an excuse. Treat people better, and you might get a better set of people coming through. But, people in the country are tired of being treated like that. So come on. We can definitely do better.